Good morning, welcome back to the channel. Today's a bit different. I'm actually videoing the process of making the videos that you guys see. So we're going to go up to Albury Hill and take some photographs in the spring weather, and it's potentially a little bit overcast, it might rain, but we're going to try it. We'll see how we get on. Here we are at Albury. It stopped raining, there's some blue sky, there's a few clouds around. I suspect it'll rain again, but I'll get the gear, I'll get out of the car, get the tripod, and we've got all this beautiful green verdant growth around us. I'm really looking forward to possibly what we're going to get here today. So let me get up to the top of the hill and we'll have a mooch round, as I keep saying, and we'll see what we can find. And obviously my trusty cameraman is over the road filming as we talk and smirking to himself. He's not done this before, but he's doing a grand job, and hopefully we'll get some decent shots out of it as well. Okay, we're here at Albury, and as you can see in the background is my trusty cameraman who's recording what I'm doing now, which is setting up this Osmo. What I'm going to do is some footage which I'll admit to, which is walking in and out of the frame, which you often see YouTubers doing, but there is a process to it, and this time I've got someone who's helping me do it, so it's making it all a lot easier than normal. Okay, so here we are, Albury, as I've just said, and we're just mounting this huge hill. And I'm doing this piece to camera to tell you all about it, and it is beautifully vibrant, all of this green growth here against these, which are now wet, tree trunks. And as you can see around me, it's really very, very nice, and I'm hoping for a lot today. I think there's some nice shots to be had here. So let me get nearer the top of the hill where all of them, what I think are the really nice trees are, and we'll see where we go with that and how we get on. Accosted by branches now. Okay, so I've actually found my first shot, and as I mentioned in the other B-roll, or C-roll I think it's called, looking up the track, which I will turn you around so you can see, you will see this little track leading off up the hill, and there is this tree here and this one here, and then there's this little mossy bank, and it's got a little cutout in it here. And what I've done is I've set the camera up to pretty much a vertical format, and I've got the geared head on, so I've got all the joy of being able to play with tiny minute adjustments, which is pretty much what I like to be able to do. And although it's a very heavy tripod, having that head on really does help, and that's pretty much the shot I'm trying to go for. And I haven't set the aperture up and everything yet. I will in a moment. I'll probably have to go to about f16 or something, and I'll focus on the near ground, this little mound, which I'll set that on there. And let's take that shot. There's a lot of reflection on the camera, but you can see what I've deliberately done is I've got the little curve of the bank here and the tree sitting almost in it, and then the track disappearing off up here, and then this tree here is just disappearing out of the frame into the top right of the corner, which pulls the frame together. So that's the image I'm going for. I don't know how well that'll work. There are no bluebells here, I notice. I don't think I've ever seen bluebells in this part of this wood, but never mind, it's not why we came here today. So let's get that shot. I'll take two shots. I'll take one focused on the bank here, and then I'll take a second one to pull the far distance in. So I'll take three. I'll focus on the tree here, that tree, and then I'll also focus on the far distance before that man with his dog disappear into the frame. So I'll have to wait. He's just gone behind the tree. Got that shot. So that is the first shot. I'm quite pleased with that. It's a nice little composition, a bit of post-processing. That's going to look really quite good. So we'll get to the top of the hill and see what else we can find. Getting hooked up on low-lying branches here. Right, so I can take a shot. Right, the first thing I'm going to do is get that in there. That powered up. Well, I'm halfway up the hill. I haven't even made it to the top yet. I've stopped, not because I'm out of breath, but because I've just noticed something on this tree in front of me. It's a rather unusual pattern. It appears to be very tiny little pieces of fungus growing in the gaps between the bark on the side of the tree. And I think that's going to make quite a nice shot. So let me show you what I'm talking about. Here is the tree, and as you can see, it's only a little tree, but we've got this really weird series of tiny bits of fungus growing in between the bark on the tree. I think that's quite a nice little abstract pattern. As I said, I think that's really quite a nice abstract series of patterns, so I'm not quite sure how I'm going to take it. Let me play with the camera for a few minutes and see what I can actually make from that. I think that's going to be quite interesting. Oh yes, oh yes, that's going to be good. That's going to be a nice shot. Let's get it framed up. Yes, well, I've got the camera configured, or at least I've put it into portrait orientation to sort of line up with the verticality of the trunk on the tree. And what I'm trying to do is, I'll show you. On the back of the camera here, I've got the 28 to 200 on at about 135 at the moment, and the shot I'm hoping to get is this rather curious pattern there. Now, I've got to be a bit careful because depth of field is going to be an issue here, so I'll have to go out to about f16 or something, and also because the tree trunk is curved, obviously, but the curvature on that's enough to mean some of the image will be in focus and some of it won't, so I will have to have a fairly good depth of field there. So what I'll do is I'll set f16. I've got f5 set at the moment. We want f16, f11, 16. That's an eighth of a second that's giving me. An eighth of a second. And I'll put the focus on the nearest piece of fungus and hope the rest is in focus. There we go. I forgot the timer. Put the timer back on. I keep forgetting the timer on this camera is actually set on this dial on the left here, and I keep forgetting that. I keep going to the function menu, which is where it is on all the other Alpha cameras. So we've got that nicely in focus. I'll take that shot, and again, this is really why this geared head comes into its own, because I can just frame that exactly as I want it and take my time over doing it. We're not in a hurry, it's a nice morning, it's not raining luckily, it might do later but it isn't at the moment, so I can just take my time to frame that as well as I think it can be, and I think that's pretty much it. Focus point on that nearest piece of fungus so it's nice and crisp and sharp, this one here, and I still didn't hear the 2-second timer. I've got it on bracketing, that's why. Let me set it back to 2 seconds. We can hear the beeping, that's good. Nice delay, nice subdued shutter sound. I've actually got the A1 set to non-silent shutter. The reason is silent shutter mode on it, which I prefer in many respects, actually has one drawback. It won't allow the curtain to drop when I turn the camera off or when I take the lens off, which I find a really useful thing and one of the major advantages of the camera over several other DSLRs and mirrorless cameras, because the sensor isn't permanently exposed. So I'll put up with the sound of the shutter, it's quite subdued anyway. So that's that shot done. We've got clouds coming in, but I don't think it's going to rain. We're nearly at the top of the hill, and let's carry on. You know, we'll do all of this and find that something hasn't happened, or I didn't have the microphone on or something.
Well, I see the numbers going up.
Yeah, that one's working, but this one, I think this one's working. Right, I'm going to walk out. You're just going to take me walking up there from this shot? Let's get this clipped out of the way. That's the top of the hill just there, so it's not much further. phone holder out like that, and then it fits naturally like that. Are you videoing? Let's have that again. There we go. I knew that was there for a reason. Now, all change to long lens. Do you remember the weight of those other lenses I had, like my 100 to 400? This is a 70 to 300. Just feel the weight of that. It's polycarbonate. The only glass part's the lens element, which is very good. Do you want to get me changing lenses and passing around? I'm in the frame, am I? Well, I think I've found my final image for today. We're going to wrap up soon, but behind you is a single tree in the middle of the dark, beautifully dark and damp track. And into the distance we've got a bunch of silver birch, which look very much like that. There's the tree in the middle of the track. And what I've done is I've put the 70 to 300 lens on, and I'm out at approximately 135 ish at the moment, and I'm framing the shot up to be the tree in the middle of the track here, and just finely adjusting that. I want to pull in the silver birch in the distance. I want to get the sky out of the scene, so I'm going to wind the shot down a bit. And now we're getting a nice image here of the tree arching over the track here, and then the silver birch in the distance and all of the green new foliage and the roots along the track here, which I think's as you can see, quite a nice image. There's a tree in the middle, which will be the main focus. I'm not going to actually have a high depth of field here. I'm actually going to go for a softer look in the background. So I'm going to wind down to about f8 for this. f10, it's a long lens, so f11's probably, let's go down to f8. f8, that's f8. f8 there. And I've got the shot set up on the iPhone. We'll set the focus point here on the main tree in the centre. Take that shot, and everything in the background's beautifully soft, but this tree is nice and crisp, and all the roots immediately around it and the base of the tree, it's all nice and crisp, and that's beautifully focused there. And everything else is slightly out of focus. What I might do here is I might actually pull the aperture right down to f5.6 and go really soft on that image as well. So let's see how that looks. And again, I can do that on here. I can set 5.6 and set all of the controls as you'd expect. So there we have 5.6, ISO 50, it's got highlight protection mode on, dynamic range LV5, dynamic range optimization that stands for. So it's going to actually artificially increase and decrease the highlights and shadows for me, so it saves me time in post-processing. I'm going to focus on the base of the tree. At 5.6, everything else will be very soft, so let's make it focus there. And the look I'm going for is very much the tree being the prominent part in this, because it's nice and crisp and vibrant, and everything behind it is soft and sort of pastel shades and nice and sort of slightly defocused. And we've got that shot. I'm quite happy with that. I'm just going to take one with the focus point on the silver birch. It's not because I'm going to focus stack them, but simply because I want a second image so that I've got it if I do choose to focus stack it. I don't think I'll focus stack that shot, but having got both, I've always got them there and I can work with them if I choose to go that route once I'm home. But if I don't take them now, I can't do it later. Anyway, that's it for today. We're probably going to, it's spitting at the moment, it's probably going to start raining a bit heavier. We're going to make our way down the hill and go home, pull all of that together, and we'll see what sort of images we get from it. I'm quite hopeful, and it is really very pleasant being out here in this in these conditions. So let's say thank you very much for watching, and give it a thumbs up if you like the video. It always helps the channel. The YouTube algorithms like people giving thumbs up, and we'll see you on the next video. Thanks for watching.